Hey, everybody. We're live.
Wow.
We are live on the internet right now.
Live.
Welcome to the Weekday, episode 17, a very special episode of the Weekday where we are live. Brad Miller says, cool intro. Thanks, Brad Miller. We appreciate that.
What's your intro?
I think all of our intros cool. Hey, there's some lower thirds.
Oh.
Did Mike's not come up?
There
it is right there. It's over there. That's cool, right?
Yeah.
We had a couple of extra lower thirds. Hey, we have a fill-in guest right now, Andre Kinos. Everybody say hello to Andre.
Hello.
Okay, well, Andre's saying hello to you guys. And then everybody on the internet, say hello to Andre.
Can I say hi to Andre? Hi, Andre.
Hi, Mike.
Hey.
Mike's taking up valuable internet streaming time. Hey, everybody. We are, like I said, live on the internet right now. Thanks for joining us wherever you are. We've got a number of people on the Facebook and on the YouTube as well. We are currently joined by a number of people. Jenna Carter Mage says hello.
Do you know her? Any relation?
No relation.
No relation to me.
No relation, but she put a ring on it. So thanks, honey. I appreciate that. I think Jenna is she doing hair right now? I don't know. Something. Anyway, it's going to be a good day. Hi, Andre, says Brad Miller. It's going to be a good day. You'll notice that, so normally what happens with the Weekday is that we record on a Tuesday. Lately, we've been going live on a Tuesday afternoon, and then we edit the podcast and we put it out for Wednesday consumption.
Right.
On YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, whatever. Today, however, you notice we got this big wide shot with, I'm looking at a monitor over here. We got an amplifier over here. We got some lights there. There's a Christmas tree. I got to do it in reverse. There's a wreath. There's a drum set and stuff. We actually shot a music video in here yesterday for the worship EP that's come out. Do you want to talk a little bit about the song? Not the whole EP. I want to talk about the whole EP next week. Do you want to talk about the song we did yesterday?
We did a song called "O Come All Ye Faithful."
I've heard of it.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. It's I don't know how much you want to talk about it.
I want to talk about the rest of the EP.
We can talk about it next week.
Yeah, let's talk about the EP next week. Let's talk about the music video itself real quick, and then later it's going to come out later on. Andre, when's it coming out? Do we know? Okay, later next week.
At some point in time in the future.
At some point, probably after Black Friday, it will come out. It is our Black Friday special sale. It's coming out. And when we talk about the Christmas EP, you guys giving amps away for Christmas. You guys are so cool. We do. Oh, Jenna is cleaning. Thank you, Jenna. I appreciate that. That's what she does on a Wednesday. By the way, I clean as well around the house, but she likes it her own special way, and so she does most of the cleaning, which is
wonderful.
Fine. I do all of the most of the laundry folding.
I do like it when our wives say, I want to do it my way. It's like, okay.
Okay, if you're going to make me.
That
if you're
sounds great.
Twist my arm.
That sounds great.
That's fantastic.
I'm here to help.
Yeah. But anyway, so we actually shot this music video in here yesterday, and it was totally fun. You're going to see it hopefully, like I said, within the next 2 weeks or so. But that's why we're in here today in this lovely environment here.
You cleaned it up a little bit. We had confetti everywhere.
Oh, there's still bits of I found some in some in the hallway.
Yeah.
I found some in the bathroom. I found some in the green room.
Yeah. There's some here. You can see it down here by the drums a little bit.
Yeah,
there's some confetti.
But
we had confetti cannons in here, and I think Andy's type 1 on the Enneagram.
Oh, I was freaking out.
Perfectionist, like clean up, need everything all nice and tidy. We left the studio yesterday. We're like, oh, let's just leave everything because it'll be cool to shoot it in the podcast. And Andy suggested nicely, like, well, maybe we clean it up a little bit. Maybe, yeah, I want to make sure no one like tracks around the confetti, but really in the back of his, like he cannot handle the fact that there might be some like uncleanliness to it.
Hi, guys. Donna, good morning as well. Donna joining us.
Did I touch a nerve?
You didn't touch a nerve. Everything has a place. And confetti belongs in the trash.
Andre, we need to get Andre a microphone. This is great.
Yeah, everything that's not furniture or instruments or something belongs on the trash. In the trash.
On the trash.
On the trash. Not on it.
Right.
No, in the trash. And so this place was pretty trash yesterday. We fired off a multitude of confetti cannons, and it's going to be totally cool. We were actually watching a little bit of the playback last night before we left, and then this morning. It looks super cool. You guys are going to have a lot of fun with a new spin on an old Christmas carol. Welcome.
I had fun. I'm tired today, though.
I am too.
Yeah, it was a lot of energy. We were here. it was like 1 to 4:15 or whatever.
Straight. I mean, we were just going.
Like 3-ish, a little over 3 hours of just rehearsing.
Yep.
Andre had to carry around the Steadicam, and
how's your back feeling today, Andre?
Yeah. he said yeah.
Andre's like just shot or just over 30, and I think he feels like a 55 or an 85-year-old right now with a back.
Yeah, just really overshoot it. 105-year-old.
125.
Yeah, we don't want to alienate
125
anybody.
osteoporotic man.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain there's no 105-year-olds listening to this, so we couldn't offend them.
We don't know, actually.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Anyway, we wanted to finish up our series that we've been doing the last couple of weeks called Our Favorite. Well, do it. Can you do it?
These are a few of our favorite things.
All right, you went different today. Last week you went Oprah, which I really appreciated.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's good. I'm with it. I'm hip with it. And actually, if you're part of our online campus Facebook group for Bay Hope Church, you saw me go live a little bit earlier, and I was really asking you guys what are some of your favorite things, and I'm going to pull that post up in a little bit.
Man, you just love the internet, don't you?
It's almost like I do this for a living. So before we get going, Jenna Carter Mage, one of her favorite things is watching me watch Christmas Vacation, the Chevy Chase movie. There's 2 scenes in particular where I always laugh uncontrollably.
Right.
And one of them involves.
Is it the one at the end?
That one, very much.
Yeah.
Very, very much. But the other one involves the cleaning of the toilet, the chemical toilet into...
Oh, my gosh.
And he's just out there in a...
Cousin Eddie.
Cousin Eddie's out there in just a very short robe and that hat with the flaps over his ears. I laugh.
There's just toxic waste going into the sewer.
You could see they added the green. Yep, I love that. And then later on, the grandpa, he lights the cigar and everything catches on fire.
Yeah.
I also really, really like that.
There are some really, really good bits to that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Seriously, it's a classic, and it's one of those that we will watch soon. Probably when we're decorating the tree.
So you guys are a big like Christmas movie family, right?
We traditionally watch 3 of them.
Yeah. Which are what?
Home Alone.
Okay.
Always. Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
Always. And Elf. Always.
So Home Alone is a Christmas movie for you guys.
Are we going to do the Die Hard thing?
No. I was listening to a podcast last night about how like it's called the Rewatchables, and they were talking about Home Alone. And there's some people within the Rewatchables sphere of there's a bunch of different people that host the show, but they think that it's not a Christmas movie, and I wholeheartedly disagree.
Wait, what's the rationale?
That it's not a Christmas movie. It just happens around Christmas, and so like it doesn't really have to do a whole lot with Christmas. I agree. I agree that Home Alone is a Christmas movie. I'm not arguing here. There are certain people who think that movie's not a Christmas movie. Now I don't think the debate is as hotly debated as like a Die Hard.
Die Hard, yeah.
That which I don't think is a Christmas movie. That just happens to take place during Christmas.
Brad says Die Hard's the best Christmas movie.
Okay, well, hey, to each their own.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Some people like mint chocolate chips. Some people like. I agree, Andre. If you can't hear him, mint chocolate chip. We do. If we keep doing this at this time we need a shout out mic for Andre. He's
like
our
the
producer.
Yeah, the producer guy.
He's the guy. He's going to sit behind the glass back there and be our producer. Anyway, let's run through a couple of our favorite things. Those people are wrong, says Jenna. I agree with her. Let's run through a couple of our favorite things. Do you want to talk about what's your personal? So here's the way we've been doing it is one personal, one church. We can make this as long or as short as we want. Go for it.
I think you should go first because I kind of forgot my personal one and I got to remember it.
Okay, so my personal one. Oh, Dee Dee.
Oh,
Hey,
I remember.
Hey, Dee Dee. Good morning, Dee Dee. Dee Dee, by the way, interviewing for a worship leader position.
Oh,
yeah. So
awesome, Dee Dee.
Already did interview it. So
very cool.
Yeah, we're super stoked about that. My last favorite thing, we already talked about kind of my family and how much I love them and all this other stuff. But I also like to be alone. Oh yeah, it's super gross. I also like to be alone. And one of the ways I like to be alone is running. Running is kind of
like, man, this got dark fast.
Yeah, no. I like to go run. And Mike, you've known me for a little bit.
A few years.
You knew me when I was growing up, and I hated to run. We played hockey growing up, ice hockey.
Yeah, running's terrible.
Running was awful. And then I got older, and by older I mean 21, 22, and this is before I knew the Lord, I was a bit of a smoker. And I was dating a girl at the time, and she introduced me to running, and I hated it because I was a smoker, and it was bad. And I remember the very first run I did, it was like half a mile, and I came back in the house, and I was just like coughing, just nasty stuff up. But it got its kind of grips, or its tongs into me. And so for 15-ish years, pretty much every day, if not every day, then every other day, so 4 to 5 times a week, I go and run. And it's this kind of therapeutic thing for me. I also lift weights and CrossFit and do all that other stuff, but running for me has always been kind of the go-to that is this really kind of time with me and the Lord, especially in this time of year when I'm out running in the morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock when the sun is starting to come up. And I'm usually listening to a podcast. Sometimes it's about dumb stuff, video games or sports, but a lot of times it's about church leadership or sermons or things like that. And it's the time when I can routinely hear from the Lord. Like it's kind of this, and I think it's just the stripping away of all the other stuff and really just me versus the world. And then the sun is shining off the clouds. It's just this picturesque thing. I do remember also actually when I was living in New Jersey, I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but it was Christmas Eve. I had led 4 worship services. Well, 3 worship services and then kind of like a candlelight service, evening service. And then some friends of ours invited me over. And so I went over there, and the friend ended up proposing to his girlfriend. And I was feeling very woe is me at that time. Just like, I don't have anybody. I was all alone. I was single. I had no friends up there, nothing up there. I had friends up there, but... and so it was probably 2 a.m. when I finally got home, and I couldn't sleep, and so I went for a run. Just in it with there was snow on the ground. It was the most peaceful run I've ever had, and it was the moment when I heard God say, "Hey, you're going to move to Atlanta." Like that's when I heard it, and then I ended up moving to Atlanta 6 months later.
Right,
it's totally awesome, and yeah, but that was the time like there was not a cloud in the sky. It was just the moon on Christmas morning at 3 a.m. or whatever, and God was saying, yeah, I got something for you. Don't worry about it. So yeah, that's my personal one.
Running's cool.
Running. Mike is not much of a runner.
Excuse me. I do run.
He does run. He just doesn't like it.
Well, I think I feel the same thing you feel when I actually am running.
It's the solitude.
Yeah, in
a good way.
Well, and especially now that you have kids and job, like there's a lot going on. There isn't a whole lot to do outside of like focus on what you're actually doing in the moment.
Right.
Like when you're running, it's not a good time to start worrying or thinking about other things.
Right.
So it is a good time to let your mind sort of wander a little bit, and it is a good time for God to speak with you. I've actually heard God speak to me on a run before.
Good for you.
Especially when it comes to moving. And when I was down here, it was like October of 2014. And I was staying at Mom and Dad's house with Kristen, and Caleb, who was super young at the time. It might have been a little bit before that. And I was still in the band and was running back in Ridgemore, where we lived. Huh. And I remember coming around, it was Ridgemore Boulevard, comes to a point, and then it like forks off into Ridgemore Circle. Mm-hmm. And right as I was coming around the bend to go onto Ridgemore Circle, I remember hearing God say to me, Tampa needs you.
Huh.
And I was like, what does that mean? You know, like
I'm getting hired by the Bucks or something?
yeah, no, I don't know, but just like Tampa, like Atlanta doesn't need you. You know, like this city, this area needs you. Like you need to be here and not there.
That's
And
super cool.
I heard that when I was running. So, yeah, maybe just God likes to talk to us about moving places when we're running.
I mean,
when we're moving places.
yeah. Well, and I don't do the whole like marathon thing anymore. I tried. I'm more of a half marathon guy. I'm a big fan of like the Friday morning, 8 to 10 mile type run. But that's when I hear all of that stuff, like you're hearing. I hear, and then routinely I'll send emails. Like I'll get back from my run, and I'll send emails off to the team around here, like, "Oh my gosh, you guys you won't believe what God just said." That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool. How about you?
Okay, so favorite thing is, and I know I talked about this a little bit last week, and I know we're going to talk a little bit more next week, just with the Christmas EP.
Yes.
But I have been listening to Christmas music now since like August.
Of 2019.
Yeah. Of this year. Just because we had to get ready for the Christmas EP and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, there are people who are very, very hard pressed to they need to follow their holidays. They're linearists.
Linearists?
Yeah, as we called them. Or no, what do we call them? Calendarists.
Calendarists.
Yeah.
Yes, calendarists.
And normally I'm high into calendarism. I love that idea of making sure we put our holidays in the right order. But I've been listening to Christmas music a bunch, and so that's kind of one of my favorite things is Christmas music, and not necessarily when you start listening to it or any of that kind of stuff, but I love how when you turn on, and Kristen and I were actually talking about this on Friday, because Ben Rector's new Christmas album came out last Friday.
So good, too.
And so we were listening to it, and she goes, why does Christmas music always sound like this? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she goes, it just sounds like Christmas music.
Like sleigh bells and...
No, just like the way that it sounds, and it has this timeless feel to it, is kind of what I think she was getting at. You turn on a Christmas song, and you before you even hear the lyrics, before you even, that it sounds like Christmas music. And, there's like the big band thing, there's like the jazz combo thing, there's a couple of little like niches of the way that the music sounds that kind of triggers you to know that it's Christmas music. But I love the fact that there's the timeless nature to a lot of the things that we sing around, Christmas time. Even like the secular Christmas songs, not "O Come All Ye Faithful,"
Santa
not
Baby.
maybe not so much Santa Baby, but Eat Frosty the Snowman,
Rocking Around the Christmas Tree.
What's the
Jingle Bells.
White Christmas, Let It Snow, those kind of things. There's something about that really evokes so much emotions from so many people, so many different emotions from so many different people, and I really think that that's incredible. There's not really anything else in life that does that, especially seasonally or culturally even.
I can think of one, and that would be college football fight songs. They routinely, I think, like when I hear "Hail to the Victors," I think Michigan football.
Sure, but that's one singular song.
Correct.
That's not a group of songs that all relate back to one singular thing culturally speaking.
Okay. I'll dig
that
it.
affects that many people.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I really love, and especially, now that I've been sitting with it for so long, like even though, I've heard "Joy of the World" like 1,000 times now, especially the arrangement that we did, I didn't really get sick of it. Like it's something that has always been there for us and just is going to continue to be there.
So do you think, and we don't need to go down this road if we need to, but do you think that's because that's the way we were raised, because of the Christmas sing with grandma and all that?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't, our family, our mom's side of the family, our grandparents, so her parents held this thing called the Christmas sing every year for 50 or 60 years, literally 50 or 60 years, where they would invite everybody over from their side of the family to sing in their basement Christmas songs. And we had 2 books. We had a green book and a white book. Everybody shouted out requests from each one of those books, and we'd sing through every song once.
And grandma would sit there at the piano and play.
Yep.
And
our grandpa would literally be the worship leader.
He would be the worship leader.
And stand up in his, green like polyester pants.
Yeah, nylon and polyester pants.
And lead these songs, and it was a great. And then afterwards, everyone would bring over Christmas desserts or whatever, and we'd eat those.
And the magnitude of what Mike is saying is a little lost because in 1950 Flint, Michigan,
right,
the houses they made were about the size of this studio.
Yeah.
And so the basement was maybe half the size of this studio. It wasn't that small, but it was
No,
small.
but I think that you're right. Like,
yeah.
Where 60 people had to cram in was the size of this black square.
Yep.
And so 60 people.
Yep. And nobody was, and everybody looked forward to it every year.
Yeah.
And
4 generations of people.
Yeah. And then we would pull up the kids for whoever we were kids at the time, we'd do specials, and we'd prepare something, and even if we didn't prepare something, we'd get up and sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and
so I do think that's part of it, but I also just think that those songs immediately transport you back to something, and then even these new arrangements that people do. There's still something nostalgic about them, no matter what sort of instrumentation they put into them. So I don't know. I think it's really cool.
That's cool, Mike.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to go quickly because we're kind of running on time here. But my favorite church thing is actually the holidays at church. And I know we've been hitting this. I feel like we've been hitting this in everything that we're doing. This is my favorite time of year. From really the Halloween, and it's not because of Halloween, it's just because really the day after Halloween is one of my favorite days until really December 26th. And I don't mind New Year's, but December 26th is when everything kind of gets a little depressing. I love these 7 weeks here, simply because it feels, in a church, it feels there's almost like a summing up of what happened throughout the year, series-wise, topic-wise, offering-wise, everything-wise. And then there's that feeling of fresh expectancy that lends itself so well to what the church actually should be doing, bringing people new life, bringing people all these things. And, Christmas for preachers and worship leaders is usually pretty bad. It's not bad, it's just...
This is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and it's on the same topic that we do every single year. So every 12 months, or every 10 months sometimes, we know we're going to be doing Christmas stuff, and we know you're going to talk about, angels and shepherds and stars and all that other stuff. And so there's not really a whole lot more you can do. You can get creative with it. But by and large, the idea that the congregation starts to come together and people wear different clothes and, things just start to look different. The lobby looks different. The studio, oh my gosh, I just hit everything. The studio looks different. Everything just feels cool around here, and I love it. I love this time of year. I'm gonna fix my pop filter.
No, that's fine. When I first got here to Bayhope, Van Dyke at the time, it was Christmas time. So I started working here on my birthday, December 2nd, and so. Or I guess that's when I was hired. So we went right into Christmas, and I remember one of the first things that I heard about Pastor Matthew, when it comes to Christmas series and all that kind of stuff, Christmas content.
We're having a rough time with this pop filter.
Yeah,
I'm just
really
gonna hold it. How's
okay,
that?
that's fine. He just the phrase that he uses a lot, and that now that Zach uses a lot, especially when we're playing stuff, is "Don't mess with Mary."
Yeah.
Just don't mess.
Don't mess with Mary.
You don't need to try and go above and beyond and make things weird.
It's Christmas.
Yeah,
man.
It's Christmas, and lean into it. So real quick, for one of my favorite church things, if you came to church this past Sunday, if you watched it online, if you and if you haven't yet, I would encourage you to go back and do that, because in the middle of the service, Pastor Matthew actually got to interview one of our rock star people we have on staff here. Her name's Cheryl Jackson, and she's amazing. So she runs our at-risk kids ministry, and that's just one of my favorite things here at church is all the stuff that at-risk kids ministries do at church. And like I said, if you haven't watched the service from this past weekend, go back and do it. Go back and watch the service and watch the interview he does with Cheryl. And it is just this 50,000-foot view over what Cheryl is doing. But day after day, she is pushing the ball forward. She has an undying passion for kids who are at risk and kids in the juvenile justice program, kids now involving orphans and orphanages and foster homes. And she's constantly trying to think of ways to not just be in those areas, but to try and expand, because her her passion is that large, and her love and compassion for those kids is so huge. I mean, that and it's expanded all over the state, and now they're talking about going into different states.
They're already in Alabama,
and it's just and continuing to go. Like, she is an expert at what she does, and I love hearing the stories, and I've had the privilege of going, a couple of Christmases ago, and we weren't probably not able to do it this year because of COVID. But going into one of the juvenile justice facilities and singing some Christmas songs with specifically it was a girls' place, and singing with them, and it's just really cool. I got to make pancakes for them, and it's a really cool. Those stories are some of the most redemptive things. And then like Cheryl, she gets them and their whole team, Debster and all that kind of stuff. They involve them in the church, so they get to watch. They stream services over there, and then when we do baptisms, they actually bring over a lot of the girls who want to get baptized, and it's the best thing. One of the best things that we do here is seeing those girls go under the water and come up as baptized believers, and they feel there's such a different sense of joy, that we get to experience with them. And I'm so happy for them. But yeah, Cheryl, I mean, is amazing. And so I know that, like I said, if you go back and watch the service, and we're actually, I think the month of November is
At-Risk Kids Month. Yeah.
At-Risk Kids Month. So we've been talking about a lot. We've been talking about SKP, which is the Suncoast Kids Place, which is a really cool thing. And November is the At-Risk Kids Ministry offerings. So if you want to give specifically to At-Risk Kids Ministry, you can do that for the month of November, and just really, get inspired by what they do, because it's incredible.
It is incredible. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to wrap it up right now, right here. Andre, thanks for helping us out today, dude.
Thanks, Andre.
Oh, you jerk.
Not my coffee.
No.
Not my coffee.
All right, I got to go clean up some more confetti. Everybody, thank you. For those of you that are listening on audio
What a great producer.
Yeah.
That's how you produce a show right there.
Yeah, Andre is all about the content. He literally just popped off one of the poppers that we used yesterday for the film or the shoot. Hey, everybody, we love you. We will talk to you next
See ya.
week. Goodbye.